morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's business diplomacy meeting. In this simulation, we will discuss climate change, carbon reduction, and renewable energy investment through a specific case. PT Nusantara Foods, a food and beverage manufacturing company in Indonesia. The country uses a large amount. Because much of Indonesia's electricity still comes from fossil fuels, the company is facing pressure to reduce its carbon emission and invest in cleaner energy. This issue is important because climate change affects not only the environment but also the economy, public health, food security, and business sustainability. Under the Paris Agreement, countries are expected to limit global temperature rise and strengthen climate action. The UNFCCC explains that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius requires global greenhouse gas emission to decline significantly by 2030. Indonesia has also submitted its enhanced nationally determined contribution with a target to reduce emissions by 31.89% unconditionally and up to 43.20 conditionally with international support by 2030. Today, each actor will explain their interests, concerns, and propose solutions. The goal is to reach a common agreement on how PT Nusantara Foods can reduce carbon emission while still protecting business growth, workers, and communities. Let us begin with the corporate executive.
As the Sustainability Director of PT Nusantara Foods, I want to start by saying that our company understands the urgency of climate change. We know that businesses cannot only focus on profit anymore. Companies also have responsibility towards the environment, society, and future generation. PT Nusantara Foods operates several factories in Indonesia, especially in West Java. Our production process uses a lot of energy, especially for machinery, refrigeration, packaging, and transportation. Because of this, our carbon footprint is quite significant. At the same time, we are also facing pressure from consumers, investors, and international buyers. Many customers now prefer products from companies that show real sustainability efforts. If we do not adapt, we may lose competitiveness in the future. Our company has three main goals. First, we want to reduce our operational carbon emission. Second, we want to invest in renewable energy, especially rooftop solar panels for our factory buildings. Third, we want to improve energy efficiency in production and logistics. However, we also need to be realistic. Renewable energy investment requires high initial costs. Installing solar panels, upgrading machines, and changing supply chain system cannot happen overnight. We need to support from the government, technical guidance from experts, and feedback from NGOs to make sure our transitions is credible and not just greenwashing. Our proposal plan is to start with a pilot project in one factory. In the first year, we will install our rooftop solar panels to supply parts of the factory's electricity demand. We also conduct an energy audit to find where electricity is being wasted. After all, we will gradually expand the program to other factories. We are open to negotiations today, especially regarding government incentive, NGOs monitoring, and technical recommendations.
Thank you. From the government perspective, climate change is a national priority. Indonesia has committed to reducing emissions while still maintaining economic development. This is not an easy balance, especially because Indonesia is still developing and energy demand continues to grow. The government supports companies that want to reduce carbon emission and invest in renewable energy. Indonesia has a target to increase renewable energy in the national energy mix. However, progress has been challenging. Reports show that Indonesia renewable energy share is still below the 23% target for 2025, meaning acceleration is needed. This is why private sector participation is very important. The government cannot achieve climate targets alone. Companies like PT Nusantara Foods can contribute by reducing emissions from factories using renewable energies and improving energy efficiency. Indonesia is also part of the Just Energy Transition Partnership, or JETP, which was launched to support Indonesia's energy transition and mobilize major financing for cleaner energy. The partnership was announced with a plan to mobilize around 20 billion US dollars to accelerate the transition from coal to cleaner energy. For PT Nusantara Food, the government can support the transition in several ways. First, we can help the company understand regulations related to renewable energy installation. Second, we can encourage the use of energy efficiency standards. Third, we can explore incentives such as tax benefits or easier permits for companies investing in clean energy. However, the government also expects transparency. The company must set measurable targets, report emission clearly, and avoid making sustainability claims without real data. We also want to ensure that the transition does not create negative impacts on workers or local communities. Therefore, we support the company's pilot project, but we recommend that the plan includes measurable indicators, annual reporting, and cooperation with independent stakeholders.
For the proposed solutions from the NGO side, we appreciate that PT Nusantara Foods is willing to discuss carbon reduction and renewable energy investment. However, we also want to be honest. Many companies today use sustainability language, but not all of them make real changes. This is why NGOs are important in this discussion. Climate change is not only about numbers or corporate targets, it affects real people. Communities can experience flooding, extreme heat, crop failure, and health problems because of pollutions and climate impacts. For a food and beverage company, climate change can also affect supply chains, especially farmers and raw material suppliers. Our main concern is that the company's plan must be meaningful and transparent. Installing solar panels is a good step, but it should not be used only as public relations campaign. The company also needs to reduce waste, improve packaging, reduce transportation emissions, and make sure suppliers follow sustainable practices. We propose three things. First, PT Nusantara Food should publish an annual sustainability report that includes clear emission data. Second, the company should involve local communities around the factory, especially by creating education programs about waste reduction and energy saving. And third, the company should create a grievance mechanism so workers and communities can report environmental concerns. We also suggest that the company sets a medium-term target, for example, reducing operational emissions by 30% within 5 years. This target should be checked by independent parties, not only by the company itself. We are not against business growth. In fact, we believe that a responsible business can grow stronger in the long term. But sustainability must be honest, inclusive, and measurable.
Thank you. From a technical perspective, PT Nusantara Foods has several realistic options to reduce carbon emissions. The first option is rooftop solar energy. Food and beverage factories usually have large roof areas which can be used for solar panels. Solar energy can reduce dependence on fossil-based electricity and lower long-term electricity costs. However, the company needs to calculate roof strength, electricity demand, battery needs, and connection to the grid. The second option is energy efficiency. This is often the most cost-effective first step. Before investing in large and renewable energy systems, the company should conduct an energy audit. This audit can identify inefficient machines, poor insulation and cold storage, unnecessary electricity use, and outdated lighting system. The third option is improving refrigeration systems. In food manufacturing, cooling system can use a lot of energy. By upgrading refrigeration equipment and improving temperature control, the company can reduce electricity use without reducing product quality. The fourth option is cleaner logistics. Nusantara Foods can optimize delivery routes, use more fuel-efficient vehicles, and gradually test electric vehicles for short-distance distribution. Based on my analysis, I recommend a phase strategy. In phase one, the company should conduct an energy audit and install solar rooftop in one pilot factory. In phase two, the company should upgrade high energy equipment and expand solar use. In phase three, the company should include suppliers and logistic partners in the carbon reduction strategy. The company should also use clear indicators, for example, total electricity saved, percentage of renewable energy use, emissions reduced per year, and cost saving. Without data, it will be difficult to prove that the strategy works. I also agree with the NGO that independent monitoring is important. It will help increase trust and reduce accusation of greenwashing.
Thank you for the explanations. Now let us move to the negotiation session. The main question is, what common strategy can all actors agree on? Corporate executive, would your company be willing to set a public emissions reduction target?
Yes, we are willing. However, we need a target that is ambitious but still realistic. The NGO suggested 30% reduction within 5 years. We think this is possible if we focus on direct operational emission first, especially electricity used in our factories. But we will need government support, especially regarding permits and possible incentive for renewable energy investment.
The government can support by helping with regulatory guidance and connecting the company to available energy transition programs. However, we need the company to submit a clear roadmap. The roadmap should include timeline, investment plan, expected emission reduction, and reporting mechanism.
Accept a phased approach, but the target must not be too weak. We suggest that the companies commit to a 30% operational emission reduction within 5 years, starting from the baseline year before the pilot project begins. We also ask that the sustainability report is made public every
Agree to annual reporting, but we want to clarify that the first year will focus on measurement and pilot implementation. After we collect the data, we can improve the strategy.
That is reasonable. The first year should be used for energy audit, baseline calculation, and solar pilot installation, but the company should still announce the 5-year target now because it gives direction and accountability.
I agree. The government also recommends that the company aligns its target with Indonesia's national climate commitment. Since Indonesia has national emission reduction targets, corporate participation will help strengthen the overall climate agenda.
We also want community involvement. The factory is not separate from the local community. People living near the factory should know what changes are happening and how they can benefit.
That is fair. We can create a community engagement program. For example, we can hold environmental education activities, waste sorting programs, and tree planting around the factory area. But we want the NGO to help design the program so it is not just symbolic.
We are willing to support as long as the program is transparent and includes community voices.
I also suggest creating a joint monitoring team. The team can include one representative from the company, one from the government, one from the NGO, and one technical expert. This team can review every progress 6 months.
That would be useful. It will also help the government understand the challenges companies face when implementing renewable energy projects.
We agree with the joint monitoring team. We also propose that the pilot factory becomes a model that can later be replicated in other factories.
We support that, but only if the company shares real progress, including challenges. Sustainability is not about looking perfect, it's about being honest and improving.
Agreed. We will report both achievement and challenges.
Thank you. It seems that all actors have reached several points of agreement. I will now summarize the agreed solutions and next steps. First, PT Nusantara Foods will launch a renewable energy pilot project in one factory in West Java. The project will include rooftop solar installation and an energy audit. Second, the company will set a target to reduce operational carbon emission by 30% within 5 years using a clear baseline year. Third, the government will support the company through regulatory guidance, information on incentives, and alignment with national climate policies. Fourth, the NGO will help monitor transparency, support community engagements, and provide feedback to prevent greenwashing. Fifth, the expert will provide technical recommendation including energy efficiency, solar energy design, refrigeration improvements, and carbon reduction measurement. Six, all actors agree to form a joint monitoring team that will review progress every 6 months. Seventh, PT Nusantara Foods will publish an annual sustainability report that includes energy use, renewable energy percentage, emission reduction progress, and community programs. Does everyone agree with this summary?
Yes, we agree. This agreement gives our company a clear direction while still considering business realities.
We agree. This cooperation supports Indonesia's national climate goals and shows how business diplomacy can connect public and private interest.
We agree as long as transparency and community involvement remain part of the program.
I agree the strategy is realistic because it combines technology, policy, community participation, and measurable targets.
Thank you, everyone. Today's discussion shows that climate action cannot be done by one actor alone. Companies need to reduce emissions, governments need to create supportive policies, NGOs need to protect public and environmental interest, and experts need to provide practical solutions. Through business diplomacy, different actors may have different interests, but they can still negotiate and reach a shared agreement. In this case, PT Nusantara Foods' renewable energy transition is not only a business strategy, but also a contribution to Indonesia's climate goals and global efforts to address climate change.